What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition. Hope ladies, leans, likes, and likes. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Why am I spinning my chair so much? Anywho, it's because I'm topsy-turvy from that topsy-turvy insane basketball game that I attended. Phoenix and Sacramento is one of the wilder sporting events I've ever seen. People were leaving that game at like the 10-minute mark, down 22. Obviously, I think they were still down 22 with like 8:45 to go or something. Never seen a comeback like it in my entire life. Probably never will again. When you see 99.9% in win probability and all of a sudden Sacramento chokes, Kevin Durant wakes up for the first time all game, Eric Gordon makes everything. Unbelievable experience. Just wanted to talk about like the real life basketball aspect. I love the NBA. It's the thing I grew up like bugging my dad to go to for 4.5 hours in the car to the Target Center. And hey, I want to go watch, back in the days, it was Latrell Sprewell. That's the first guy who comes to my head. Kevin Garnett, Sam Cassell, Wally Szczerbiak. Those were the days for me. The NBA is my baby. Now, MLB, I had a ridiculous year last year. I also think it's the one sport I didn't play, so I have zero biases towards it. But the NBA is the best. And so to look at my profit chart from December 17th until now, to see that we're up over 30 units on this program alone, not even counting the premium Discord. I'm talking just on this video. That makes me happy. Now, NFL, that was a smash as well, partially because, we 7-2. I mean, that was an annihilation on the video. But as I look at Lindy's stuff over here on the Odd Chopper channel over the course of the last month, I can't help but be a little bit proud. And also, nice to be able to enjoy some of the fruits of the labor, get some nice tickets for my parents for Christmas, head to Phoenix, go and watch an awesome basketball game. It's the best. Sports are the best. Betting sports are somehow even better. So bet 5, get 158 over at BetMGM, friends. Again, it's so nice. I didn't even bet on that Phoenix-Sacramento game because I couldn't find a damn thing that I wanted to bet. Nothing looked good on the board, but everything looks good on the board at BetMGM when you get 3 bonus bets, $50, $50, $58 bonus bet to celebrate Super Bowl 58. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But again, deposit $10 or more, bet 5, get $158 in bonus bets. Awesome stuff. We'll talk about it later. But we've got 5 games. This should be another pretty quick one here. Obviously, Bojan, he ended up a lock there. Let's see. Where is he? Let me just double check for the people in the premium Discord. Where is he? Oh, he's still at 18. Okay. So we're heading into the fourth quarter here for Detroit, Minnesota. That ended up being a lock in the premium Discord. Steph Curry lock ends up getting invalidated. Horrible situation there. Obviously, hope that, producer Jacob wants you all to know that Golden State's winning their next game, which I probably don't disagree with at this point. I was leaning towards betting them in that spot anyway. And now I'm leaning towards betting Utah in the reverse. Yeah, we're going to bet Utah in the reverse. Anyway, producer Jacob, we got 5 games. Let's get to the picks. Our day begins with the most disturbing spot you could ever imagine. Washington taking on the Knicks. And obviously the Knicks are currently playing basketball against Houston. It's all of 48-46 at halftime in the Garden. Oh, well, beautiful, beautiful deal. How about we bring Washington to town? Because that sounds enjoyable. When this thing opens, the spread is going to be large. Now, one thing to look out for, Jalen Brunson. He ended up being questionable, ends up getting ruled in for Wednesday's game, perhaps to give him a break on Thursday. If you had to choose which game you're going to have him play, you would obviously choose the more competitive game, which is the Houston one. And Washington, for all intents and purposes, are not good. And as good as Jalen Brunson is, you do not necessarily need him to push some type of an injury in order to have him out there on the floor. So this is the very first game, first window, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Something I'm going to do. Lindy's Locks update. We got to get it back over here on the old Twitters, on the X. I need to start doing these here repeatedly. I was running around, chicken with my head chopped off, getting other stuff done here. Again, working hard for the people in the premium Discord and want them to get the best information and the best bets. They get the priority. Again, $12 to be able to sign up for your first week down below using promo code Lindy. Seems like a good opportunity. But anywho, let's talk a little basketball, shall we? Dunks3.com. You know by now, one of the analytically based sites that I love to lean on when it comes down to comparing this team compared to that team. Well, compare Washington to just about anybody besides Charlotte, Detroit, and Portland. They're the worst. They're horrible, terrible, no good, very bad. In fact, 7-32. I'm surprised they're that. They're 30th in adjusted defensive rating, the worst defensive team in the league. Now, from a pace perspective, this total is going to be an interesting thing to see where it drops at open. I'm not even going to say necessarily, because people love to come in and say, oh, you were so off with the total. No, I wasn't. I'm reacting as fast as I possibly can, either based on my projection or seeing if there is a prevailing line movement. If I agree with it, then I can jump on knowing that other people are thinking the same way as me, or preferably sharp money, because, public, that's how they build those casinos, as they would say. Even though all these books are like in other states, they're offshore, and then they're brought over and they have their own lines. But anywho, we'll get into that another day, that's for sure. Washington in this spot, I really have no interest in backing them for just about anything. Maybe some unders in our lives, because blowouts, always something that you could single game parlay together. You probably have some type of expectation. Obviously, you're probably paying an exorbitant vig if you're just jamming a bunch of those together. That's why it's kind of nice to correlate on sites like Prize Picks, sites like Underdog. You have Pick'em in your state? Awesome. Great, grand, no yelling on the bus. But the Knicks, I want to point out at least one prop that it's kind of been something that I've taken some unders on recently, that I'm more interested on the overs in this spot. Dante DiVincenzo, it's prevailingly been sitting at 2.5. And it was wild to me one day when I looked at the board and I saw Dante DiVincenzo has 2.5 as a 3-point prop, because you don't think about him being a high usage guy. In fact, over the course of 40 games this season, only 334 shot attempts, which sounds like a lot, but you break that down, that's less than 10 per game by quite a ways. In fact, it's closer to just 8 and change. So why does he have 2.5 as the number? Well, 2 reasons. He's shooting 42.8% from 3. That's useful. And the other part is the change in schematic now that it's not Emmanuel quickly coming off the bench, which, again, I bet they would like to see him coming off the bench based on what he's doing right now. And then also the other guy, RJ Barrett, he's gone, a volume shooter. OG Anunoby comes in, a lower volume shooter, a guy with lower usage. So you've seen the 3-point attempts ramp up, and books were quick to adjust on it. 7, 8, 10, 11, 8. But here's the thing. I took some unders recently on it, ended up hitting the under against Washington, this very same Washington team. However, coming off some of this quantity, we'll see if people actually get there, because there's been plus money on the under on a couple of these in like a pretty pronounced way where it projected out nice. I think you're getting closer to like a minus 135, minus 140 type play here. Again, I'm projecting out what I think the baseline is going to be. You can go ahead and make fun of me. Again, normally I just said I don't want to give you the total for this very reason. But yet here we are, projecting out the game, simming out the game. I think over 2.5 Dante DiVincenzo threes is a decent spot. Yes, only 2 for 7 against Washington last time, 26 minutes. They blew them out of the gym. If this game stays remotely competitive, I think this could be a spot where you get your card started, but just a lean until more information is known. The Bullies taking on the Toronto Raptors, and I got to tell you, producer Jacob's an awesome dude. He knows things. He does cool things from time to time. He's like, you know what? We should have a top bar that shows finals odds. You know what, Eric? You look like shit today. We should like put on makeup. He tells me stuff like this from time to time, and I appreciate it, because honesty goes a long way in this industry. Also, I'm okay for a guy who's going on like zero sleep right now and pure adrenaline, but love me some betting, love me some opportunity to make some money, but also love me some graphics that do great utility. Producer Jacob, fire it up. We got a trade alert. First one coming to you here on Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Pascal Siakam is now an Indiana Pacer, and you know who's not? Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis, and 3 first-round picks. Before the trade, the Pacers, 50-1 to win the East, 120 to 1 to win the finals. Pacers to win the East. Again, after the trade, you're looking at Toronto. They are exponentially worse here in this spot. So I will say that Toronto, yes, they're going to give way to Scotty Barnes to take on a lot of usage. Emmanuel quickly. I had a bunch of questions, and I appreciate them. I will talk to you about that here right now. Producer Jacob, though, love this work. Let's continue on. Guys, Emmanuel quickly. I loved when we were looking at 26.5, 27.5, because you look at some of his base rates. There were a lot of blowouts early in the tenure. There was some foul trouble for Emmanuel quickly, and that's generally not a part of his portfolio. First off, he didn't play enough minutes with Tibbs, so I guess we didn't really know to some extent. But when we had seen 30, 32 minutes of run absent, in RJ Barrett when he was hurt, absent a Jalen Brunson last season when he was hurt, wasn't really something that popped up from him from time to time. Obviously, a different team that's asking different things of you. So it makes sense. You get a different type of rotation. You have different You have different asks, basically. So Emmanuel quickly, maybe this ends up being something where we have to be factoring in more fouls. We have to be factoring in more minutes, and that's going to be something that is his baseline going forward. A pretty decent defender. But the books did a very aggressive line move on his numbers from 27.5 to 32.5 post-trade with Pascal Siakam. Just going to say, the base rates looked identical with Pascal Siakam on and off the court. It was a very small sample size. We're talking about 250 minutes written and change there for Emmanuel quickly. But for me, I didn't feel comfortable advising people to take overs at that kind of a number. If he ends up getting there here in the second half, they're up by like 40 against Miami right now. We did bet half a unit on Toronto because I do think Pascal Siakam was eating up a lot of usage. He had a 26% usage, the highest on this team. Whereas you're looking at Scotty Barnes needing to be that emerging superstar. You're looking at Emmanuel quickly, who you now might have an opportunity to rebuild around. You have 3 first-rounders. You have some other things. And obviously, I don't think Bruce Brown ends up a part of this rotation. You have Schroeder. You have quickly. You have an opportunity to kind of see what you have there. Schroeder will have more asked him, although Gary Trent gets the start here on Wednesday. So on a back-to-back, you're probably getting a lot of these similar rotations from this game on Wednesday. Jontay Porter gets the start over Thaddeus Young. Lots of things that I wanted to be paying attention to for this one in order to break it down. But I didn't sim this game. I did not run a lot of my own personal stuff for it. And from a market-based approach, I think this is pretty darn efficient. So I want to go down the usage rabbit hole with you. I repeat, 26% usage for Pascal Siakam. You take him off the floor. You have 25% Scotty Barnes usage when it was with Pascal Siakam. I expect that to go up, even though the base rates for him there too have been about identical with and without Pascal Siakam on the floor. Just knowing that he's gone, though, and knowing that Quickly and Schroeder are going to be distributors, I think gives me the confidence to say 27.5, 28% usage. Yes, it's a slow-paced Chicago team, but kind of want to be early to the party on some of these spots. And this will be a theme over the course of the next month as we get closer to the trade deadline. New environments. We pop up the trade situation. I work through the rates. I talk through you how I'm processing information, and I hope that can help you. That is why, even when you don't have props, because books aren't going to put these out the night before. They're going to be very cautious. They're going to analyze what happened in the game on these back-to-backs Wednesday to Thursday, and we'll talk about Indiana coming up here a little bit next. But I think you want to be early to the party with 25 plus points, Scotty Barnes, pending what the number is. Obviously, the number rules all. And then 20 plus for Emmanuel quickly. I think he's going to be the second guy in terms of usage. Schroeder won't be that guy. You definitely are going to have no usage coming from the center position, whether it's Thad Young or whether it's Jontay Porter. So whoever's filling in as the 4, or in this case, you have brought Gary Trent in to do the service of being that extra starter. But just paying attention to this, I think we want to be early to the party. Gary Trent, as much as he's out there to score, usage hasn't been up, and I expect these two guys to dominate it going forward for Toronto. Let's talk odd chopper, shall we? $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. Really nothing else to add other than the Discord has been lit. It's been on fire. I love all the new additions. I love everybody that's been hanging out there, talking ball, talking shop. Yeah, I like to talk a little shit from time to time, but it's an enjoyable experience. It's a safe space for you to come in, vent about your sports. Also, ask me questions. A safe space to just throw out whatever you're thinking about betting, and I can tell you whether it's something that I'm interested in or not. Once in a while, something will get added to the card that a sub throws out there or that I do some more research into, but obviously trying to give you the best plays that I have in addition to the OS Premium Tools. Yes, the coup de grace, the OS Premium Tools, friends. $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly, but it gets better. 20% off with promo code Lindy, Lindy. Look at that. I can spell my own name. Expert picks, Discord, Premium Tools. I'm pointing at them, so they're obviously true and obviously things you're going to get all when you sign up down below. 20% off. That's $12 for your first week or $42 if you so feel like it to just fire up that first month. That is less than $11 a week. That's another great bit of math. Look at me go. Anywho, that's all I got for you for now. 3 more games. Let's get back to the picks. I feel disgusting about this one. The Oklahoma City Thunder, 3.5-point favorites taking on the Utah Jazz here. 245.5 total. That obviously sticks out. What also sticks out, We ended up capitalizing -4.5. That ended up being on X at Eric Lindquist. You can follow me there. The freebie for everybody. I gave you the lock, -4.5. Ended up being a competitive game there, the Clippers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. But Oklahoma City on a back-to-back, losing, kind of a letdown spot against the Lakers. Also, they're kind of having some issues figuring out how they want to close out games. Who is going to take over in some of these spots? Because I love Jalen Williams. He's an awesome piece. He is a great wing, one of the best two-way wings in the NBA. You need to play through SGA and the pick and roll with Chet. You got to just start doing it. You can't have Jalen Williams shoot corner threes or create for himself. You have to have somebody else other than Isaiah Joe on the floor to guard when you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George at the helm. I don't know what OKC is doing from time to time with some of these closing lineups, but I would like to ask some questions. Kenrich Williams, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? But hey, I'm okay with it here. -4.5. Happy to be able to cash that Clippers ticket. Closed at 6.5. And hey, everybody who played it, period, ended up cashing. Those are the best feelings. But this is not a good feeling because you know by now, I like Oklahoma City. In terms of advanced analytics, everybody should like Oklahoma City. They are second in adjusted net rating on dunks and threes, fourth in adjusted offensive rating, and they've played a pretty decent strength of schedule, 10th, and 7th in offensive strength of schedule. Pace, 7th. This thing is going to move it. But Utah, do we buy into what is going on here at this point in time with this freaking team? Because I don't know what to make of this. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They are 16-4 at home against the spread. 15-5 at home overall. What the hell is that? Also, how have they played that many damn games at home already? They're going to have to go on the road for years. Is there a convention going on in Utah later? We're going to leave that alone. But here we are, friends. Oklahoma City. I'm actually looking at betting against them here in this spot, and a couple of reasons why. One, they were supposed to be on a back-to-back, Utah was supposed to be on a back-to-back, but they're not. So you're getting a fresh Utah team after not having played basketball on Wednesday. Obviously, a horrific situation on why, but this gives them that extra day of rest that they otherwise wouldn't have had. Second thing, the elevation element. Third thing, Oklahoma City getting back with the LA to LA sprint. I'm not an NBA player, but I've spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, California. Let me tell you, there's some things to do to distract you if you're an NBA player. Not going to say that that's going to be the reasoning. Not going to say that that's something I should pay attention to. But when you live in Utah, I think you're focused on basketball. By choice, by lots of things. Not that Oklahoma City, a lot of young kids, a lot of opportunity. Go get your money, go have fun, do your things. But you know what? We should also bet against people in some spot like this when they're 3.5-point favorites. In fact, I don't even want the points. I'm just riding this wave that is Utah right now. I don't know what to make of it. I tried to bet against them a couple weeks ago, and since then, we've picked opportune spots with this Utah team. Only 2 of them. Wish I'd bet them more. But my dear sweet Lord, 3.5. Leave it alone. Just take the money line. Give me the plus money coming in. As you look across the industry, there is a plus 140 currently available as I record this at Caesars Sportsbook that popped up. That is the one that I want. Never doing that again next game. I've done a really good job of explaining through situations, not to pat myself on the back, but obviously the Dante DiVincenzo's threes, that's the lean, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly. I think it was really important to talk about what I'm changing in my model, what I'm looking at in the marketplace, because again, a market-based approach, you're basically just identifying where sharp books are on things, and then you are finding ways to just bet the best available number when it's exponentially better than the sharp books. There are soft books out there. Smash, schming, schmop, schmom. Just saying, there's places where you can get the money down and life is good. But, friends, Mike Conley, Minnesota here, Minnesota against Memphis. We don't have anything going here right now, and I don't really know where this number opens. Minnesota on the back-to-back. Memphis starting guys like Jacob Gilyard. Yeah, I'm still mad at them. I lost a half unit on the stupid Golden State Warriors trying to back them there in that spot at -8 and closes at 8.5. And Draymond Green comes back and none of it matters. But in case you haven't noticed, in case you failed to see, this is my heart bleeding for you. This is me down on my knees looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves. These foolish games, they're tearing me apart, but they're not. The opposite. They make me so happy. I just felt like doing that whole Jewel bit. A lot of you, that went way over your head. That's an age thing, trust me. Batman and Robin was a terrible movie, though. Is what it is. George Clooney, great actor, though. Anyway, Minnesota, as we're looking at the board, 16-2 at home. They're going to be massively overvalued in this spot. There's no doubt. But the books look at that and they're like, yeah. Memphis on the other side, they're starting Jacob Gilyard. There's no Desmond Bane. Dinged up Jaren Jackson Jr. John Morant out for the season. What are we even going to do to set this line high enough? I'm telling you, this thing is going to come in on a back-to-back for Minnesota around 10, 10 and a half, 11. Maybe you get an opportunity for somebody to rest. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is Mike Conley's facing his old team. I assume he plays on the back-to-back. Anthony Edwards was the one questionable here on Wednesday. If he sits, this is definitely in trouble. But I'm leaning towards Mike Conley, 10-plus points. Sorry, I want Anthony Edwards out for this. It'd be good. Anyway, Mike Conley, 10-plus points as I was working through some of it. Took the under on 10.5 there on a Prize Picks card here this afternoon. Again, should probably talk through some of these things from time to time. But again, that was just something on Live Before Lock. Somebody asked a Prize Picks question. I built out the card on the show. And this is what we arrived on. And we'll see if it ends up cashing here at the end of the night. I see that Minnesota 115-104. Where's Bojan? I had 18-3. I need one more point from Bojan or one more rebound. That was an assist, Bojan. I'm watching the game. Yeah, I am. Anyway, I have nothing going from this one as of right now, but I would look at the inverse. I think you could look at 9.5. That would be a really nice opening number here, considering 10.5 was the prevailing number for him today. And what ended up happening? Kyle Anderson. Looks like Mr. Anderson could end up closing here in this one. He has 8 points, by the way, 26 minutes played so far, 4 minutes left in this game. I am sweat. I need one rebound or 1 point from Bojan to cash that lock. You don't care? Cool. Great. Grand. Let's talk about something you should care about. Getting bonus bets. Friends, bet $5. Get $158 in bonus bets at BetMGM by signing up at this QR code or in the video description box down below. Here is all you have to do. You have to deposit $10 or more at BetMGM. So if you have DraftKings, if you have FanDuel, if you have Caesars, and you hear me preach every single day about shopping for the best odds at whatever sportsbooks you have available to you in your state, get another one in BetMGM because they are giving you this amazing opportunity to try out their product. And also, if you love betting golf like I do, they have the best golf numbers by far across the industry. If you're betting golf on DraftKings or FanDuel, you are doing it wrong, my friends. BetMGM is by far the best spot to go get the best odds day in, day out in the golf marketplace. Yes, that is for sure. Go Sam Burns. Go JT Poston. Those will be great things this week at the Amex. But anyway, let's continue on our merry way. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But bet 5, get $158 in bonus bets. That's 3 bonus bets, $50, $50, $58. Sounds like a pretty good Thursday to me. So fire that one up, friends. To the last game of the night we go. To the last game of the night, and once you know it, producer Jacob, let's fire up the card one more time. Pascal Siakam is now an Indiana Pacer, but you know what he's not going to be on Thursday? An Indiana Pacer. So that's kind of problematic, don't you think? Because now Jordan Nwora, who actually entered the rotation a couple of games, Bruce Brown, who was a centerpiece sign away from Denver, again, not fitting the structure of what they need. They need more offensive-centric guys. They're trying to be a juggernaut. Pascal Siakam, I don't want to be the person who has to offer him a max contract. So I totally understand what Toronto's doing, but I also understand that Indiana does not want to squander a top 3 offensive player in Tyrese Halliburton's prime, and we are stepping into that mother trucker right now. Producer Jacob, thank you so much again for this amazing title card. But Indiana plus 8.5 going up against Sacramento, and I will repeat, I watched Phoenix and Sacramento. I watched Sacramento go from 99.9% win probability in person, the 21st row there at the... That was a really cool arena, by the way. I hadn't been to the Phoenix one in quite some time. They completely remodeled it from the last time I was there. Very impressed. Nice to have a bar right as you walk in with your parents and hang out. And I'm just going to have a beer or 4 of them. And then I'm going to watch the Phoenix Suns come back from 22 down in a fourth quarter as a lot of their fans are leaving. I was never leaving. I've never left an NBA game early in my life. I'm trying to double check if that's true. I'm pretty positive that's true, unless a girlfriend at the time told me, like, oh, I don't want to stay. Can we go get popcorn? I didn't marry any of them. My wife would never make me leave an NBA game early. That's how you know you married correctly. I also know that I'm handicapping this one correctly because Sacramento has been overvalued. We have bet against them over and 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 over like we're Marshawn Lynch. And why have we done such things? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First off, I trust the adjusted net rating here being bottom half of the league here. They are now at 17th in adjusted net rating, just below that meridian line, actually sitting right next to Phoenix, which is ironic, don't you think? It's like, Ray. No, we're not going to do that. 23-17, friends. That is their record here in the season. But I care more about the analytics underneath it and what is going on with them here recently. One thing that I have noticed, especially watching them in person, is they are playing at ludicrous speed. That is a Spaceballs quote. But fourth in offensive possession length. That is short amount of time that they are having the ball in their hands. 14 seconds per possession there. They want to shoot it early in the clock, and it is leading to high variance matchups. In Indiana, they finally are starting to bring these totals down a little bit because, again, Tyrese Halliburton is not playing basketball more than likely here. However, got upgraded to questionable as I was working through this, and this got launched from like category where I had a little bit on it to Daddy has a lot on this one now. This is a full unit send, friends. Indiana plus 8.5 going up against Sacramento. You saw some inspired ball from Toronto here on Wednesday. I'm not saying that it's identical here for sure, but plus 8.5 with the potential of Tyrese Halliburton showing up. And plus, I think Andrew Nembhard is better than he's played of late. I think you get an opportunity to have Hield re-enter this rotation in a pretty prominent way in the absence of a Bruce Brown Jr. Again, if you're going for pure offense, you might as well have one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA out there on a day-to-day basis who you know you're getting zero defense from anyway. But you're getting zero defense from Halliburton. You're getting, just go try to win games by scoring 145 a night. That is the new Indiana way. I think the high variance matchup in this one, I think this plays into Indiana's hands pretty well. And Sacramento coming off the embarrassment that was Phoenix. Tell you, it's just not a team you can trust coming down the stretch. They have no identity in that closing five other than the, hey, Sabonis, go out there at the top of the key, throw the ball around. And hey, if you're able to cut off some of those back screens or just like Kevin Huerter handoffs that they ran like 3 times at the beginning of last game, tough to get into that offense without just fast break. So Indy in the half court, plus 8.5. Hopefully Halliburton plays, and I would feel really good about this ticket. And obviously if he doesn't, I feel worse. But plus 8.5, friends, lock it up. Ow. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know, to go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays on Thursday's slate. I banged my elbow so hard on the table. Thank you, producer Jacob. This was a really good episode until that moment. And now I need ice. So, shit. Check out BetMGM. Check out Odd Shopper. I need to go to bed, too. Till next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Thursday. Shit.